So, for those that I have not yet met, my name is Deshae Hearn. I'm very fortunate to be the Sheriff Citizens Academy coordinator and very blessed to do so. I want to welcome all of our guests here this evening, all of our presenters that are sitting in the back for being here this evening, all the chiefs, and especially the class. Thank you for being with us these 7 weeks. It's been great getting to know all of you and learning about you and for you to learn about the Sheriff's Office. We really appreciate it. And I would be remiss if I did not thank Sheriff Hall for believing in me ever how many years ago that this is worth the community seeing. So thank you, Sheriff Hall. I appreciate that. So this is your last directives class. So I'm sure you've already seen that you have your certificate and class photo at your seat. You have those. Your swag bag is actually an approved stadium bag, so you can take that. And then also your award this evening will fit in that box, so you'll have that. Also, a lot of you have noticed you have a little extra on your name tag. Right now, that has 144 photos from the past 6 weeks on it, along with your class video. There's 2 things, though. The class video is put on there. We'll actually be sending you photos and everything from this evening, including graduation night, and also the class video again with a little extra on it. So that'll be sending to you within the next week or so. So I will email you a link that has all that. When we're done this evening, Sheriff Hall will be available for photos in front of our step and repeat. So the only thing I ask is that we form a line. And if you want your picture made with him, go ahead and get in line. But then if you want with your loved ones or a group or whatever, let him go ahead and leave, and then we can do all the other fun photos, okay? All right. And so Reggie will be here to take your photos, and so we'll send those. Anybody have any questions tonight? You'll find that out in a little bit. Okay. Well, just so our guests can see what y'all been up to the last 6 weeks, let's watch our video.
The person is brought to us with all sorts of disorder, all sorts of problems. And we're trying to get our hands around what that is and do the best we can before they go back to give them a chance to be successful. What I think you will find is there's no toys. But at the end, I hope you will feel the way every class that's been through this has felt. That you didn't know much about it, and when you left, you felt differently about the types of work that goes on and what it is all about.
My experience has been very good. It's been very informative and just a very good experience throughout.
My favorite part of the Citizens Academy so far has been the tour of the downtown detention center. Getting a behind-the-scenes look at the entire process from when an individual gets booked to transportation to court dates and release was an eye-opening experience. The intake by far has been the highlight of the Academy for me.
That at each level, the goal was to see the person as an individual and to ensure that they were, 1, heard, and 2, that their safety was a priority.
It has been excellent so far. I have learned so many things that I never thought that I would know about the office, and a lot of surprises as well. So it has been very good.
All right. That's kind of fun. And I saw y'all sit at my desk too, by the way. See, at least you didn't post it. Last time I was home when I saw that, but it's your desk. It doesn't matter to me. I probably told you a couple of these things on the first night, but I want to revisit it because you've now had 8 weeks or 7 weeks or whatever, and many, many, many hours of putting up with us and listening to us and going through it with us. But anytime you have a program in any organization like this, one of the most important things to do is you find an owner. Someone needs to own it. And I love that phrase because you don't just own it when it's bad. When it's good. You got to own it when it's bad and everything in between, even when you feel bad. And so the smartest thing we've done for a program like this and to try to lift a program into the community was to find the right person. And I don't do a whole lot of things right. I was right about this, at least in who should run our program. And that wasn't an easy ask because she beat me to death for 2 or 3 years to get me to do it. But she saw something in our people and our programs that probably I grew up in and may not have understood what it would mean to the regular citizen. And so I need all of your help. I want to thank Deshae Hearn for all she does. She's the key to the whole program. So one more time, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes. And she's got cool initials. And so we get along really well because she's got a, and then she tried to take a day off in the middle of this thing, I heard, right? Which I know was hard to do. And then we had this weird substitute teacher show up who'd been running around the whole time. He normally dresses just like me every time we do these things, but this time tonight he didn't. But let's give it up for Reggie one more time, all the work. A couple other things. I always enjoy videos because it just tumbles memories and times, and so and to show up and capture some of this so we can at least revisit it. Please give it up for John Adams, who helped put the videos together and keeps us all together. Yeah, so want to do one more thing. Told you we started the night off with a terrible morning and a terrible loss. Even if we hadn't had to talk about that loss, I do want to mention something else that you can walk away with. We're also losing 2 of the pillars of this organization. This is the last time that they will be in their capacity while we are greeting the community. And it's the first time I've said this. There are other things over the next several weeks and months internally, but I need your help in thinking 2 of the pillars who built everything you see. Mr. Tony Wilkes and Chief Deputy John Ford. You both stand up, please. Chief Wilkes, Chief Ford. We've all been together the entire time, and it's an awkward feeling and time for us just because we don't like change, and we have had a incredible organization. I think we have great people, and I don't want to change. So I don't know what to say or do. And we all envisioned we'd all run out together one day, and some of us had different plans and better plans and earlier plans, and so we're all trying to find our way through the changes that we're going through. But I want to thank them, and there's not anything you witnessed or watched through or walked that they're not responsible for. That's what their jobs are every day, and I couldn't be more proud of the work that they've done. I never thought when I grew up and went to Antioch High School, came to work here 38 years ago or whatever it was, 36 years ago. Chief Wilkes comes to work here. He went to East High School. I'm at Antioch. We come here. If you'd have told me that 36 years later we'd be sitting in this room this morning with a robot running around in here, not exaggerating, we have robots in here this morning who we're looking into to bring to work. And I'm talking about walking up the steps. They went into our training classroom over there. The officer's working there. It walks down. It's the freakiest thing. So it may be time for me to leave too. But the future is around the corner, and we can't stay stagnant in the world that our challenges about staff and all sorts of things. But it's we have a very innovative organization and a lot of people who are responsible for it. So I told you, or I thought, that one of the reasons that I didn't want to do this when we were first talked about it was there's not a lot of toys. Yeah, there's a motorcycle I saw, and there's other boats and horses I think someone told me we have. I don't know. But at the end of your time, I think what you'll have, other than some gadgets and cool swag, as Deshae calls it, to go home with, is I hope you'll remember the people who work here. It is incredibly difficult work. It is very thankless. You're never going to know their name until they screw up significantly. And that's a hard life to live, right? I mean, unfortunately, the police and fire departments in most cities do great work, tough work, and get a lot of attention and deserve it. There's no doubt about that. But the men and women who work behind that wall really are hardly ever seen. They don't have a face in the public. Most people would never do what you did, sign up for several weeks of hours to go visit and walk and talk. You may not know it. You may have been the highlight of their month. Because a lot of times the interaction that we deal with, as you can imagine, is not only difficult, but it's negative. The environment's negative. And I tell people when they come to work here, there's not other places where everything that you're going to touch today doesn't want to be here. The money doesn't care if it stays in the lock, right? But here, people and families don't want their loved one locked up most of the time. And so that attitude of the population is very hard to maintain a positive attitude. It is. Tough line of work. It's tough to find good people. Underpaid, underappreciated, and we work really hard at trying to do things that help lift them. And believe it or not, you walking through their operation lifts them, because they get to at least see people who I think are trying to learn or appreciate more about what they do. And so for that, I appreciate the fact that you've taken the time to do it. We surely don't expect. We have had a bunch of these silly TV shows like Locked Up and Cops and all these things want to come and do. We're just not into sensational TV. We'd rather be involved with other types of work. So two other people that I want to think they're involved with the whole situation. They joined our organization not knowing they were going to be sent to the military training of several weeks of having to go with you guys. But one of the things we started several months ago is when individuals join our headquarters facility who haven't grown up working here, I wanted them to come and be a part of your class, to be honest with you, to learn a lot about what we do. I'd love to have done that on the front end. We just didn't have a class ready at the time. And so it's two of your classmates, both Sam and Paige. I want to thank you both for being a part of the class and what we do here. They both do great work day to day. And tomorrow morning, we're going to pick their brain about what really happened. Tell us what we need to do. So we'll debrief in the morning and try to get some better ideas about moving forward. So a couple little things. Did you learn the difference between the police and the sheriff? It's expensive. If you say it wrong, at least we don't charge you real money. We do ourselves. We fine ourselves if you say that dreaded D word, because we tried to learn the difference. I'm on Morning Line once a month with Nick Barris, and he thinks he's smarter than everybody. He's a good guy. But he thinks he's smarter than everybody, and so we have a deal with him. Every month, if he says department on TV, we fine him $1. Now, what's cool about it is it's recorded shows, so it plays twice a day. He owes us $2. And so we turn that money over to the Last Minute Toy Store here in a few months. And so my goal every month is to get the D word out of him. I did it last month. and we'll get him some more. But deep down in that little game, it's important to us. It's not the fact that the election is important. We're not politicizing that, but it is the fact that you pick it. We have a new mayor about every other week here in Nashville. We have a new mayor next week, I think. Tomorrow, Thursday. So we've changed mayors a lot. Mayors can change police chiefs a lot. We've had a lot of police chiefs. We've had a lot of fire chiefs. We've had a lot of, and so that's okay. But those are departments that are driven by your election of a mayor. And you get to pick who this is in this job. And I think, I don't know if I told you this, but you have to. The state constitution requires you to elect it. You can't do away with it. But I hope one of these days the public take interest in elections. There's hardly very few people who show up for mayor's election, much less a sheriff's election. So there's 100,000 people going to vote on Thursday for mayor. There's 30,000 who vote for sheriff. So if you don't like them, blame those 30,000. So we've got to get more people interested in those types of things, because I appreciate the fact that you're the boss, right? I mean, our policies and what we do, if you don't want us to help try to change people's lives in the world of treatment and programs, I'm the wrong guy. And we try very hard to explain that and deal with it on a daily basis, but ultimately you're the boss. I had a son, one of my sons asked me one time, said, "Dad, who do you call when you're sick?" I said, "I have 700,000 bosses. And I really don't call anybody, but I know that if I go too fast down the road or eat too much or too little or say something smart to the waiter or waitress, you're going to tell me." I have people tell me that all the time. You're the boss. I get that. So that's the difference for us. It's an office. It's how it happens. We have a lot of fun with it because most people cut up and use the wrong D word. So we thought we was going to have some fun, which we did, and we were going to see if we could educate and also compensate. Is that the right word? And see if we couldn't get. I think some people cheated and swapped some money or something. I'm not sure how this worked, but. So what we're going to do, we're going to present 2 coins because we had kind of a tie in our money-making game we were doing here for your office bucks. And so one of our winners of the money for getting the most D's out of you was Mr. Danny Estep. So there we go. You get your, there we go. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Thank you. There's your coin. Thank you. And our other, we should get polygraphs for these, right? It's kind of like my golf scores. I'll make sure that y'all not. Our other winner of our coin is Mr. Eddie Jackson. I want to give you one as well. Thank you. And Mr. Jackson, thank you very much. There you go. Right. All right. So, again, it is a commitment. I appreciate you doing it. I told many of you my mother did this a few years ago. And still talks about it. Asked, "Can she come back and be in another class?" I keep telling her no, because I had to bring her every week and go every night. But she loved the experience and was able to learn something too. So I hope you've got something you can take away with you tonight as well. So with that, let's go for some goodies and give some things away and have some pictures, and we'll get the celebration underway.
I'm going to call your name, and then you just come up. Palestine Baisley.
I got the coolest new one already.
James Blakely. Christy Bradley. Michael Chakowski. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, just go ahead.
I think he did it too.
I was picking up the next one, so I didn't realize you picked it up.
There we go.
Now, Justin Brown.
Yeah, there we go.
Thank you. Paige Cryer. I know she is.
Thank you.
Angela Dillon. Danny B. Eastep Jr. Amanda Finley. Brad Gainey. Tom Gus. Martha Habib. Thank you. Grab it and show it to you and see. That'd be great. Elaine Hackerman. Samantha Hutton. Eddie Jackson. Thank you. Linda Jackson. Abby Lassane. Joy Mangrum. Yemi Margia. Janet Partey. Donna Randolph. Gracie Rule. Juanita Smith. That one.
So there's some super cool things that happen. Number one, it's good to see Elaine and people who are friends and Blake and people who are here in sport, but also celebrate with us a little bit tonight. It feels like every time there's some 6 degrees of separation or something that comes up, and one of the coolest things tonight was Juanita told me a few minutes ago, leaned back and said, well, my cousin wanted to say hello or whatever for a few years, Walter Smith. When I grew up, we watched Fonzie. Walter Smith is the coolest dude in the world. So, great guy, great dude.
Cody Stewart. James Stewart. And last but certainly not least, Ann Wolf.
So let's give it up for everybody. Weeks, a lot of hours. I want to thank you for a couple little things I would ask you to do to help us a little bit. You know, if you're interested or found it interesting, I hope you'll talk to somebody about it. Here's what we're trying to do. We send these out there, 100+ people who apply. We try to go down. You know, Deshay does a really good job of trying to make it diverse, and I'm talking not about in gender and race as much as I am where we're from and when you've been in Nashville and how long and what do you do and your backgrounds. We want all of those things because this agency and people who come in and out of these doors are extremely diverse in all of those ways. And so it's important. It's important for us to find. I grew up in Nashville. There aren't very many people who say that. And so I don't want people who look like me and act like me and talk like me and walk like me and from Nashville, really, just being in here. We want everything. People new to Nashville, people who walk up and go, wow, and where I'm from, the sheriff does X, Y, and Z. And so we're trying to inform and educate along the way. So if you find interest, we do it basically year-round. If you want to reach out, Deshay is fantastic at staying in touch with you. Do you call it alumni? Alum? So you're going to be on the mailing list and all the stuff and Deshay is organized. She's going to keep you informed. And we want you to feel that way, but also every time we've had a class, there have been people recommended by someone who was in the class before. And that says a lot to us because we understand that you understand what it's all about. And it's a lot of commitment for you, a lot of hours. And we want to make sure that it's quality work. And we will take all of you, I promise you, I get them every time. Deshay makes sure we read them all. We will read all the evaluations, all the things we need to do to improve it. We're trying to make it better. And we will keep doing that as we go. So I hope you'll take a few seconds to do that as well. And I hope you feel like you're walking away having learned a little bit about that place that they call jail. It's a lot of interesting places to be. Any questions before we kind of break loose? Anybody have any ideas, any things you need to say? All right, so I'll tell you what let's do. Let's do one more time. I want to give it, our presenters all stayed here through the night. Ask them to stay. They did a lot of work making this happen. One more time, a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time. If you want pictures, you're welcome to stay. If not, you're free to go. We will make it happen, and Reggie will boss us around and get pictures made, I promise. So have a great night. Thank you, guys.